Hello, and welcome to Roasting the World, where we offer an adversarial perspective on today's cultural issues, where we do it for the intelligent culture. I'm your host, Keenan Robinson, and today we have our special guest,
Pal Shadows.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a community activist. I'm a musician, MC, first and foremost, DJ, producer, and I'm in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
Entrepreneur.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So today's topic to be roasted is a college education. Then versus now, old versus new. Is it still worth it, all of this debt or opportunity, however you want to look at it? From my perspective, I came up a poor kid. No one told me about college. And college offered me a way out of the streets. So I chose to go that way versus what I saw a lot of other people doing, going, drugs, jail, gangs, different things like that. So I chose to go to college, and it was different. And it opened up doors for me. I had my daughter when I was 20, and I was making $16,000 a year. When I got out of college and got my bachelor's degree, I started making $32,000 a year. Moved up from that, making $40,000 and $50,000 a year. But if I didn't have those degrees behind me, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to make that money with the way that my mindset was at the time. The opportunities wouldn't have been there. But I do have a lot of student loan debt, and that's terrible. And I'm trying to keep my daughter from going there because she's a second generation, actually third generation, because her mom and dad on her mom's side went to Tennessee State along with me. Tia, you went to TSU too, right?
I did.
TSU in the house.
Alma Mater, Big Blue.
Absolutely. So I just want you to kind of speak about the thought process coming into TSU or to college in general, coming out, student loan debt, being an entrepreneur and maybe being able to do that earlier instead of going to college and all of those type of things. So I'm going to give you time to go ahead and work through that.
Well, first and foremost, peace. Glad to be here today.
Absolutely.
Like I said, people, my name is Pal Shadows, but that's formerly General Pal Shadows of the House of Hip Step. And I'm a spokesperson for this great universal international musical organization that we came from the Universal Zulu Nation. And some of y'all can do your Googles to find out who the Universal Zulu Nation is. But we left them, the Zulu Nation, in 2015 and became our own standalone group. But we believe in protecting the environment.
Right.
Economic independence, having your own business, being your own boss, making music that impacts the community in a better way, and having victory over the streets.
Right.
So, first and foremost on that college thing, I think that, young people need to understand that, you got a long time to live your life. It's because, you think when you're 20, you think you're grown already, but you're not. So, you're grown on paper. You can't drink yet in America, but you're grown on paper. But
you can go to jail.
You need to understand that you got a long time to go. So go ahead and buckle down and master your studies, and handle that business and be real proficient at it and really get into it. And don't be so worried about partying, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have plenty of time to party.
Right.
And then the partying gets better and more fun the older that you get, actually.
Right.
So I would tell you, first and foremost, young people, if you do choose the college route, if you don't, get a trade. Some kind of skills or become an entrepreneur. But if not, go to college and make sure that you master it and just wait to party. Just be focused on your studies and utilize it as a place of connection and to network. 100%.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with the networking part of it because I know a lot of people that join sororities and fraternities. I never did because I was in the gang culture before that, and it kind of aligned like that for me, so I stepped back from that. But I know some people that may get a job because they know someone that they went to college with that's maybe a boss or a business owner.
Nepotism.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's how other cultures, I'm not going to get specific, but that's how other cultures have been doing it for centuries. You know somebody, you don't even have to be qualified to get the job, but you have the degree and you know the person, so they get you in the door. And I feel like with education or higher education, it gets you in the door. I see students now, because I work, at a local high school, and they don't even want to finish high school for one. They don't value education. And then if they do, college is free now. When I was in school, college wasn't free. Now they get 2 free years of college where they can get a trade, where they can start that process, or they can start their lives and go ahead and become an entrepreneur. I know a lot of people that came out of prison and started businesses and different things like that. So I believe in entrepreneurship because I'm also an entrepreneur. But I do understand the value of getting that paper behind you, because I know a lot of people that know how to, let's say, audio engineer, but the people that got the paper behind them is making the money that they want to make because they went to school and they dedicated themselves to their trade. And so do you want to speak on that? Or
Yeah, people are different, and college is a great way for a person that's not really good at networking,
right,
and good at knowing how to become an entrepreneur and very self-motivated, and maybe lacks in those areas. So college is a way for you that it'll give you a foundation and a network and a place to network from,
right,
and some help. Now some people is real entrepreneur like, and they may even have help,
right,
in their family, parents or some family member,
right.
But the average person kind of need that little help, and I think college is good for that person that needs that little boost foundation to get started. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as far as the financial parts of it, do you feel like you got, because you're an entrepreneur, but you said you also graduated from college. Do you feel like you've made more financial gains, or do they coincide with the entrepreneurship and the networking that way, or with the college side?
Well, I'm still paying loans and shit, and you know what I'm saying? So they owe me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the Tennessee State University owes me. The college degree didn't come with the receipt. You know what I'm saying? Didn't come with a guarantee.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, they want me to pay all this money, then they need to make sure they should have guaranteed me a job when I came out, but they didn't do that either. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, when I graduated, I struggled and went through a lot of things being an entrepreneur and a musician.
Right.
And the route that I chose, which was, I'll admit, it was unique compared to other people. They probably would have took their degree and then went and
traditional
got a
job.
But me, I was doing music full time, so
Right.
it was like that. So I struggled a lot where I probably didn't have to.
Okay,
but
so that was sound like a personal choice versus TSU's fault.
I put myself through that. But I will tell you that I worked in education.
Right.
I worked in, because I got my degree in Africana Studies.
Okay.
And focused on research development.
Right.
And but I'm telling you, like the jobby jobs that I've gotten, I made more money as an entrepreneur on my own,
right,
than in the workforce, really.
Right.
And now, not saying if I would have went that traditional route like most people, maybe I would be making more money in that area. But
right.
I chose the other area. But what I think people need to really focus on with the financial aspect is that it's what you really choose to do with it, because it's not the kind of a thing that's like, okay, you go here and then you get X amount of dollars. I mean, to a degree it's like that, but it's more abstract than that. It's like you go here, you get the networking foundation. You get this place to network.
Right.
You get this access to information.
Right.
That's invaluable. You can't really put dollars on that. You get this experience. You can't really put dollars on that.
Right.
You meet, because then say you at college, you meeting scholars and people always coming to the campus.
Mm-hmm.
So I met Malcolm X's daughter.
Right.
At TSU because she was there. I met Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who wrote Golden Age of the Moors. You know what I'm saying? And they came before Columbus. I ate lunch with him. Jacob Carruthers, people like this who I never would have, just more than likely not met if I wasn't in college.
Right.
And that's invaluable.
Right.
Now, what I've done with all that experience and information is I've used it and applied it to make me a true man of the world.
Right.
Because all that experience made me a intellectually diverse, sophisticated person, a more sophisticated person where I can talk to people in all different walks of life. Because it gave me that professional kind of grime mentality to know how to put a suit on sometimes and come out of my ghetto speech, you know. Because in college you practice your speaking, you know, you learn how to communicate, and that's invaluable.
Right.
So I mean, what's the number on that? You know,
that's invaluable.
So like it really is an abstract kind of a number when you think about financial aspect. What you make, it's what you make of it.
Right. Okay, so generationally, I have a kid that now attends Tennessee State University. You have a kid that attends Tennessee State University, so that's awesome. What would you say to the next generation when they graduated from high school today and they come and ask you, hey, dad, uncle, granddad, cousin, friend, what do you think is the best thing for me to do? Why? And then how about this student loan debt, scholarships, because some people don't have student loan debt. What area to study that's going to put you in the best position and how to network in those things?
See, I tell all young people, get a plan.
Right.
Strategize. Don't do your college thing or anything in life just willy-nilly, just without a strategy.
Structure. Yeah.
Have a well thought out plan. So, first of all, figure out what it is you enjoy doing, what interests you,
right,
and major in something related, connected closely to that, and then school will be easy.
Because you love doing it.
Yeah, like if you don't like physics, don't do it. Go do biology. You know you don't like physics, but you just stuck on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Challenge yourself. Always challenge yourself. But if you're after that first semester, it's not doing it for you, that means that's a sign.
Right.
Go and hit the biology lab up. But so I would say that that's very important. Choose the right major that for yourself, and be patient with yourself. You don't gotta figure it all out the first year. Right. Okay? You don't even gotta figure it out the first 2 years. You could take all kinds of crazy electives for 2 years, and then on your last 2 years you're gonna have to take those core. You're gonna have to go on and knock those core courses out once. But by then you figured out, okay, yeah, I'm more of a business side type person, which was boring for me. I didn't, I went for business, and that's what I left business because I realized after the first semester I was going to sleep in class. I was not caring. This guy could not engage me. It was very dry, and just the whole building was dry. And I was like, I can't do 4 years of this. So I went into Africana Studies because I've always been interested in history.
Right.
And school became easy. After that, I started making B's and A's.
So let me ask you this: if you were, because I got a business degree, econ and finance, and I can understand what you're saying, and it did help me with my entrepreneurship.
Right.
But speaking just to the boring part of it, right? Because a lot of kids, it's boring, right?
Right.
If you were the teacher, how would you teach? More physically, kinesthetically, lecture? Like, what would you do differently to engage those students? Because it is something that they're going to need.
Why not get them the hell up out that classroom?
Okay.
Who created that model? That's boring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, like. See, I went to City High, Chattanooga, right?
Right.
Cause I left when I was in 8th grade. I got into a big fight at school. Got violent, and I had to leave town. So I moved to Jackson, Mississippi. I came back to Chattanooga in high school, my mid-high school, 11th grade.
Okay. Had
my act together. I was more ready. And I did good in high school because I was more focused.
Right.
See, coming back to Chattanooga and being focused like that, for me, was important. And I think that that's what the youth need today. They need to have more focus, when they're younger, and try to really, find something that Because, like, I was doing music in high school.
Right, and you still do it now.
And I'm still doing music now. So, for me, that helped me a lot. You know, I was in Chattanooga, and that I was with my grandparents. So, for me, it was like music really helped keep me out of trouble, and it gave me something to do.
Right.
There was something I wanted to go with that, but we'll leave it at that.
So, what about the role models? Because a lot of people are not telling the youth about higher education or anything past high school. They just want you, I guess, to work at one of these fast food restaurants or to become a millionaire because you created like Google or Microsoft or Apple, you know, but they're not giving them any structure. It used to be where I have friends whose parents would like work construction. So those kids would work construction with their dad or mom and they would learn that trade. And nowadays, there's not a lot of that going on. So, you know, they need role models is my point. They need people to go into these schools like yourself, myself, who's actually been through that, or into the high schools and tell them, hey, because I do music too, right? And I do this, but I also have a day job that helps pay for and sustain my entrepreneurship. And I think that it's important to have multiple streams of income.
Right. And then I just remembered the other point I wanted to make because you were asking me about what I would do differently as the teacher point of view. I'll wrap that up real quick before I answer that and say, like I said, I would get that the high school I went to was a Paideia school, Chattanooga High School for the Paideia and Performing Arts, called AKA City High School. Right. And what was so unique about it is we taught and learned primarily in a circle structure.
Okay.
We rarely sat in lines and rows. Like this. And just flipping it up like that made school more fun.
Okay.
You know, but definitely to the educators, take the students out of the classroom, give them projects that are more involve their day-to-day activities.
Interesting.
So they can see
relate to the real world.
How this education is, how knowledge works.
Right.
The next question you were saying, mentors. Yeah, you got to give back. You should give back. Right. You should give back. I volunteered when I was in college. I was already volunteering for 100 Black Men organization, going in the hood, doing cleanups, working with the youth, just going and I might pull up on them, just pull up on the block and talk to some youth. Right. Not so much these days, but I would join an organization that has a structured mentorship program, right, and encourage everybody over the age of 25 to act your way size and act like an elder to these youth. Yeah, right.
And I noticed,
mentor some type of way, find a way to get at these youth and get back.
Now I do notice that a lot of women are achieving high levels of higher education, but our young men of color are achieving a high incarceration rate, a high death rate. What will you say to that concerning just the option of going to school or someone telling them about education or how that can change their life in an instant?
The mass incarceration plan, as outlined by Michelle Alexander in her book, The New Jim Crow, is working.
Right. School to prison pipeline.
The school to prison pipeline, using our music and culture against us as a weapon.
Now let me ask you about that part.
Weaponized hip hop against us.
Now, I do remember hearing about that conversation, but we don't have to buy that. We don't have to follow those cultures, but we do. That's a choice.
Yeah. Well, that's the cultural tradition of American society that we listen to us on the radio and do and say as they do and say on media.
So you got to think for yourself.
If media tell us to be afraid, we're afraid. If media tell us to be upset, we upset. If the radio tell us that this is in, then this is in. If the radio tell us get a Phantom, then Phantoms and ghost cars, that's what's in. If media tell us diamonds are a girl's best friend, that's what girls want.
Right. I can understand.
So if media is telling us this is the kind of music that we're playing, and then that's what is going to influence us. If media and the media controllers, not influencers, the controllers. Right. There's a difference between the influencers and the controllers. if the media controllers decide that they want to change the narrative of what is the messages that's being promoted, because American society, is the mama, is the government, is the television and media.
Right.
That's our mama and daddy. We don't listen to our parents.
So the parents are telling us that
our parents listen to them.
Well, when I say parents, I mean the government, like you were saying.
Okay, yeah.
Are telling us who we are.
Yeah.
As people.
Definitely.
And they're influencing us to have low self-esteem, to not achieve high levels of greatness, to not be great, except for music, which they control.
Okay. I see
athletics,
yeah,
which is using your physical, somewhat, mental, but mostly physical.
I see what
you're saying. Other than that, what other way are they pushing you?
Right.
What other way are they pushing you?
Right.
They don't say you can be great, start a business, go to college, have a family, build that family structure up, love a person that looks like you instead of killing them. That's not what we're hearing out here.
Well, see, we had President Barack Obama.
Okay.
And what that was supposed to be, when you have parents in the household who got some sense, then they can see we can utilize that as an example, and, to give our children, and we can say, listen, this is why I want you to stay in school, because you could be president of the United States one day.
Right.
This is why I want you to continue to do good and stay stay on the streets and stay on this path, because girl, you could be like Kamala Harris one day.
Right.
But we're not on our job at all, so we're not taking advantage of these examples that we do have, or have the elders and guidance to the youth to say, move in this direction.
This is the pathway,
and I got your back.
These are the steps.
Look at that. Mm-hmm. These are the steps, because it's a lot of incarceration in the media that we see and in the music, but it's also a lot of brown-skinned people, our brothers and sisters, doing great things in the media too these days. And like I said, President Barack Obama was the greatest example of that. We gotta capitalize on that when these type of examples, and show our youth that, hey, you could go that way, but why go that way when you can go this way?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why go that way when you can go this way?
Well, at the end of every segment, we have a thing called roast or toast. When you roast something, that means you burn it down. Right. Roasting the world.
Yeah.
When you toast something, that means you're putting your glass up to when you agreeing with it. You saying that this is something that I agree with. So on the topic of college education then versus now, was it still something that we need to do? You get to decide whether you roast it or toast it. And when you say that, you got to give us your final thoughts on the situation and speak to the audience and to the camera, and and let us know what your thoughts are.
Oh, I'm going to toast it, man. Get that. I'm going to tell you like the God G. Colleen told me, get that sheepskin, God. Get that sheepskin, God.
Absolutely.
I toast that all day.
All right.
It's what you make it.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, stay ready so you don't got to get ready. And we will see you next time for another exciting episode of Roasting the World. And we want to thank you for coming. Appreciate you, and God bless you, good brother.
All right. God bless you and all of y'all. Peace and love.